I want to introduce you to somebody else. You know, it's not easy to go into the 14 countries we've gone into. It's not easy to create remarkable products. It's not easy to develop formulas. It's not easy to get them registered. It's not easy to make it available to us wherever we go. That takes enormous skill and gifts. And we have an expert in that with ARIIX. That little seal that we put on every one of our products, the ARIIX seal of quality, it's not a marketing stamp. It's a commitment. And it's something that we feel very, very deeply about. And in order for us to be able to speak about it confidently and to be able to give you the confidence that you're representing such high quality products, let me introduce you to the man who brings that to us everywhere we go. That is Tom Jackson. Please welcome to the stage.
Thank you. What a great room. What a great group. It's an absolute privilege for me to speak to you today. One thing that Jeff didn't mention in that introduction is that I'm basically just a big nerd. You have to be a nerd to enjoy reading government regulations or writing specifications and SOPs or doing lab testing. And yeah, that's the kind of thing I enjoy. I would rather do something like that than sunsets or long walks on the beach or singing Whitney Houston songs. But since I know most of you don't enjoy those same types of things, I'm going to try to keep the nerd at bay today and try to stay away from anything too technical. But you know, for the past 20 years, quality has been my world. This is the type of thing that I love. I could talk to you for an hour about flowcharts and I'd put you all to sleep. This has been the language that I've spoken. I've had the opportunity to help a number of companies, large and small, whether that's companies that I've worked for, consulted for, or audited. And I've been able to help these companies improve their quality systems, in some cases building a quality program from the ground up. And I've watched with frustration as some of these companies have embraced quality like it's a necessary evil, and they've done the bare minimum. And I've watched with excitement as other companies embrace quality and they grow and they prosper. So when I had the chance to join ARIIX and I saw the commitment to quality that already existed in this executive team, I was excited. This is a company who gets it. This is a company who wants to be better every single day than they were the day before, and they're going to work to get there. So when people ask me, is ARIIX really any different than any other company? I just want to grab them by the shoulders and shake them and say, oh, if you only knew. If you only knew what I knew, you'd never ask that question. Why does quality matter in the first place? Why does it matter to me? Why does it matter to you? I want each of you to think about for a minute what you had for breakfast this morning or what maybe you just ate for lunch. Did any of you stop to think about the quality of that food? Maybe how it was prepared? The hygiene requirements for those employees? The policies and procedures that they follow?
This tastes weird to you?
You know, if you're like most of us, you don't stop and think about quality until it's missing. Most of us really never think about quality until it's gone. The sad truth is there are far too many companies out there that pay lip service to quality and they abandon it as soon as it's inconvenient or when it gets in the way of growth and profits. And that hurts each of us, the consumers. In February of this year, the New York Attorney General's office accused several dietary supplement makers of fraudulently selling products that didn't meet label claim. Through testing, the New York Attorney General's office determined that 80% of the products they pulled didn't match what was on the label. 80%. 8 out of 10 products that they pulled off the shelves. Now, you hear something like this and you might think, well, they pulled products from a little corner drugstore or a dollar store. The truth of this is they pulled products off the shelves of major US retailers, Walmart, Walgreens, GNC, Target. These are places that people expect to go into and get a good, safe product. Companies that people trust. Well, sadly, this is nothing new. Over the last 3 years, federal inspectors have noted that 7 out of 10 facilities that they've walked into to inspect have major violations of regulations intended to ensure that products are safe and labeled correctly. These are violations that range from hygiene, sanitation, employee training. Over the same period of 3 years, 400 of the 400 GMP inspections that FDA has done, 1/3 have resulted in an official FDA action. So if you want to ask, is quality a problem, or the lack of quality, is that a problem? Think of how many products are represented by this piece of the pie, this 1/3. Do you want those products in your home? Maybe you have some of those products in your home. Now, you could ask where ARIIX falls into this. Over that same period, isn't it comforting to know that we have passed every government inspection with flying colors? We are not in the red section of that pie. Like I mentioned before, one of the things that's truly special about ARIIX is this deep and continuous commitment to quality. Riley this morning talked about operational excellence. He calls it that, I call it quality. It's the same thing. It's this commitment, it's our promise to you. And it's a promise and a guarantee that what Jeff just mentioned goes on every box, every bottle, every pouch. This is our promise to you, our gold standard. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about what's behind this seal. What does it mean to me? What should it mean to you? Every day as you talk to your prospects, your friends, your families, people in your downline, people you come in contact with, some of those people really aren't going to care much about quality. They don't mind going into a Walmart or a GNC and pulling any product off the shelf. But you're also going to talk to a number of people who do care. So I want to give you some of the knowledge and the tools today to be able to easily go out and give your customers the information about why the products in the ARIIX brands are the best. So we're actually going to focus on 3 questions today. Number 1, how do I know I can trust the quality of the products in the ARIIX brands? Number 2, are the ingredients stated on the label really in the products? How many of you have been asked that? And will these products truly benefit me? So what is quality? How does it happen? How does it get built into a product? Because it doesn't just happen. In any product you build, there are 3 areas that need to be addressed, where quality needs to be built into. And that's design, production, and assessment. All right, so in honor of this being the Drive event, to illustrate this, I want to use an analogy using a product, using a brand that to me exemplifies how quality gets built into every step of this, and that's Bentley Motors. Who here drives a Bentley? Couple? This is some proud car owners. Dude, why do you like driving a Bentley? Okay, it's just the quality and craftsmanship to go into that vehicle. I agree. But I would bet even every time Duke gets into that Bentley and starts it up, he's not thinking about all the quality checks, all the work that went into creating that car. If Bentley wants to create a state-of-the-art automobile, the first thing they're going to do is assemble the finest team of experts that they can find. Experts in the fields of aerodynamics, fuel efficiency, materials, electronics. This team is going to create a set of specifications that set the bar, that define the quality standards that are going to be carried through into production. The car is going to then go onto the assembly line, and even before it hits the assembly line, materials are going to be checked to make sure they're suitable for the car being built, to make sure that they meet these specifications. Do you know on the Bentley assembly line there are over 1,200 quality checks done before that car rolls off? And then even when that car does come off the line, a team of inspectors is going to go over every square inch. They're looking at every system, from the airbags to the brakes to the engine, looking under the hood. Somebody's looking in that little glove box to make sure the light works properly. They're looking at everything to make sure that that car was built to the set of specifications that the designers intended. So we can see that there are these three areas where quality needs to be addressed: design, production, and assessment. If quality isn't built into each one of these steps, or if existing quality standards are ignored, then you've built a quality product by luck, not design. And I don't have to tell you in a place like Vegas, but sooner or later luck always runs out. And when it does, the results are measurable and often very costly.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission and fully new power. Controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction. Any accident that Toyota drivers have experienced. The explosion and fire caused a deep water horizon, and the resulting oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico never should have happened. And I'm deeply sorry that it did.
Folks, it costs a lot to build bad products. I'll tell you what else costs a lot. 2 hours at the blackjack table last night. Let's look at how our products fit into these three areas: design, assessment, design, production, and assessment. So design and research and development. And again, quality products don't just happen. You've just had the privilege of listening to Dr. Ray Strand. This morning you listened to Deanna Latson, our Chief Product Officer, Dr. Ginger. You already know some of the attention and care that go into developing the ARIIX products. As Chief Product Officer, Deanna Latson has the task of bringing together experts in the fields of health and nutrition. Experts with decades of study and research under their belts. But that's not why they're chosen to be part of our team. They're chosen because they're passionate individuals who've devoted their lives to this study, who've devoted their lives to helping people like me and you. That's why they're part of our team. Something to watch out for are those companies who say, well, Dr. So-and-so knows everything about nutrition and single-handedly developed all of our products. I can tell you, it is impossible for one person to stay current on all of the research and data out there. Do you know last year alone there were 1.1 million research articles published on the PubMed site? So those companies that rely on a single formulator end up with stagnant and outdated products. It is precisely the collaborative effort that we have chosen to follow that allows us to create products that are best in class. How do we know they're best in class? Well, we do our homework. Of course, we look at trends in the market and our competition, which on the surface seems pretty formidable, right? Until you take away those products that don't even have all the antioxidants and cofactors you need. How about those products that aren't made in an OTC drug facility? Take away the products that aren't rated as 5-star gold with the comparative guide. Those products that use binders and fillers and introduce pressure into their manufacturing processes. Just in case any of you are wondering, a second ago I did not misspeak when I left the ARIIX products up there and mentioned 5-star gold rating with the comparative guide to nutritional supplements. I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes because there's a story here. Remember, folks, our task is to build this, not this. Sorry, Dr. Cooper. In my position, in both regulatory and quality, I need to know everything about the products. And so I actually have the opportunity to be part of the development process. So I can personally vouch for the hours of reading, research, testing, teaching, discussion, and debate that go into formulation decisions. And not only formulation decisions about optimum levels of ingredients, but optimum sources. Whether that's a grapeseed extract from Italy, a mushroom from Japan, an essential oil from a century-old lavender field, trace minerals from our own Great Salt Lake. We all know there are companies that have been doing this longer, but honestly, I have never seen a company who does it better. If anybody out there thinks that we have developed products by simply going out and copying the label of something on the market, they could not be more wrong. You just heard Dr. Ray Strand talk about nutrition. The Nutrify line, for example, was developed to bridge the gap between our diets and lifestyles and optimum nutrition. Our job is to give your bodies, your organs, your cells, all the nutrients they need to maintain optimal health. Dr. Strand said it best. It's best to maintain your health. So much easier to maintain your health than to regain your health. And yes, it is expensive to create products that contain the right nutrients at the right levels. But how much more expensive is it when you have to treat chronic degenerative disease medically? Take a second and think about the pharmaceutical products that are in your home. Or if you don't have any drug products in your home, think about your parents. What's in their medicine cabinets? And think about the cost of those products. And I'm not just talking about the cost in terms of dollars, I'm talking about the cost in terms of health. Have any of you ever really listened to those drug commercials on TV? Let me paint this picture. There's this beautiful music, and you've got a couple skipping through the tall grass or sitting in side-by-side bathtubs. And it's beautiful and it's serene. And then you get this. You know the voiceover may cause, and there's a list of 20 things. Great, I've stopped sneezing, but now I'm constipated, I have tender swollen breasts, and I live in fear of having a stroke. I don't know about you, but I will stick with first step therapy and try to avoid all of that. All right. I could go on for just an hour about the design phase and just how well our products have been designed to bridge the nutritional gap. Let's move on to production and manufacturing. Just like on the Bentley line, our products go through a battery of tests during production. Products are subjected to identity tests to make sure that each ingredient meets purity standards, strength standards, potency. And on the line, adjustments are made to make sure that the first product off the line is exactly like the last product off the line. Consistency is key. I've heard Dr. Cooper use a quote. He says, "The market values consistency over quality every time." I'd actually like to modify that and say consistency is quality. I don't believe you've got a quality product if you can't make the same thing time after time after time. Anybody can get lucky and have a good run now and then. But if you've got the controls and systems in place to ensure the same product is made time after time, that's quality. This is the control part of quality control. And it goes without saying that this is a much easier job when we have great manufacturing facilities that follow drug-level GMPs, Global Food Safety Initiative standards, and HACCP regulations. Again, it's all about consistency. All right, we move into lab testing or assessment. Now, I told you all I was a nerd. Over the years, I've spent tens of thousands of hours in the lab. So this is what I really enjoy. And this is great because this is where ARIIX really excels. Of course, we do physical testing, microbial testing, chemical testing using state-of-the-art equipment. But where we're different is that we have sent products to nearly a dozen laboratories to validate and verify our results. So we're not just sending products downstairs to the lab in the basement and asking you to take our word for it that they meet specs. We're sending those out. We have a high level of trust in our results, and that should give you a high level of trust in us. Brent Roth, president of our manufacturing facility, refers to the Nutrify products as the most comprehensively tested products he has ever produced. This is a man who sat on government panels to create GMPs, written tens of thousands of formulas, and he says this about the Nutrify products. We've gone one step further. We've done full product testing, comprehensive testing with NSF, probably the leading third-party certification lab in the US. Now, I promised I'd get back to this 5-star gold story. 6 months ago in Hong Kong, we announced that we had achieved 5-star status with the Nutritional Guide. Shortly after that, I started talking with the authors of the comparative guide about what test results they needed to see to certify that the products met the gold standard. Over the course of those conversations, they actually told us that they were considering changing the criteria, enhancing their criteria, and demanding that companies do full comprehensive label testing with NSF, but they didn't know if anybody could comply. They didn't know if NSF could be able to do this for anybody. So of course the next phone call was to NSF, and we started this conversation. Now, when they heard what we wanted to do, that we wanted to test both a multivitamin and a multimineral from top to bottom, looking at things like markers and herbal components, trace minerals, it blew their minds. Nobody had ever asked them to do what we were asking them to do. You see, when most people submit products to an organization like NSF or USP, they ask them to do the bare minimum. They only want them to test 1 or 2 ingredients to verify that everything is correct. Well, obviously we're not like most companies. We spent months developing test methods, in some cases actually teaching them test methods, to develop a protocol that worked, that would allow us to do all the testing. In the end, NSF actually ended up apologizing to us because it was taking so long. They asked us to be patient with something that really hasn't been done before. How great is it? How great is it to know that when the 6th edition of the comparative guide comes out, we have done all the testing required under the new criteria. We know we've already got the top score. We've earned it. Now let's see if the other companies who've enjoyed that status in the past can follow the same enhanced testing and keep up with us. Let's be honest, quality is not easy. It's not cheap to build in quality at every step. And so most manufacturers do the bare minimum that's required. Instead of focusing on what they should do to make a quality product, they focus on what they must do to meet government regulations, minimum standards. And minimum standards are just that, the bare minimum. We're talking about government agencies that still allow things like arsenic in drinking water, lead in apple juice, pesticides on herbs, rodent hair in popcorn. Think about that the next time you're at the movies. The FDA allows 2 rodent hairs per pound of popcorn. I won't even tell you what they allow in peanut butter. It's not pretty. We can do the same thing. Do you want a product that meets the minimum standards? Do you want a product that has binders and fillers? Artificial flavors, colors? Irradiated herbs? Synthetic essential oils? Do you want a product that's good enough? Better than most? Do you want the gold standard? There we go. It's our promise to you. We don't meet the minimum standards.